Donald Trump, Nicki Minaj and their ilk are adding insult to injury, where we are losing our lives. Nigerians are dying, and they are there using that opportunity for political rhetoric and for entertainment. Shaun, it tells you how seriously these people take our lives, that a musician will be invited to the United Nations who has never been to Nigeria, as far as I know, will be invited to the United Nations to speak on insecurity when we have eminent experts in Nigeria, when we have survivors in Nigeria, when we have families who have lost loved ones in Nigeria, when we have a government in Nigeria. None of them got invited to the United Nations to seriously discuss the issue. It was a musician who has no relationship with Nigeria and know nothing about Nigeria that was invited. And when she went, Shaun, what did she do? She gave a speech in which she claims to care for Nigerian Christians, but she was laughing at the end of the speech. Less than 5 minutes, less than 2 minutes after she has spoken about Christians being persecuted, and she was laughing in the same speech. And she was using the speech for advertising her work.
Rapper Nicki Minaj is being dragged around, especially in Nigeria, for her speech that she gave at the United Nations for the Christians who are being persecuted in Nigeria, and it's getting crazy and so unbearable for her. Now, it is reported that after her speech, 24 hours after her speech, about 300,000 of her followers on Twitter all unfollowed her. So this is a picture showing, her before and after. Now, before the speech, Nicki Minaj had 26.9 million followers on Twitter, but 24 hours after the speech, almost 300,000 reduced, now bringing her followers to 27.2 million followers. That is on Twitter alone. And some reports have even said that she deactivated her Instagram account over 4 weeks to avoid being mass unfollowed on platform. That means that she knew exactly what she was getting herself into. Now, some Nigerian, influencers are also dragging her, and with some even calling on the Muslim population in the world to unfollow Nicki Minaj. Now, let's get into it. But if today is your first time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. Now, let's get into what really happened.
Enjoyed this video so far, please do me a huge favor and hit the like button and subscribe. These videos take quite a long time to make, so if you could help me out, I'll love you forever. Thank you all for your support. Now let's get back to this crazy story.
Now, this is the penultimate number, and it's number 2. At number 2, I present to you Kweku Afrik. Wow! This guy has a thunderous voice. Like, when he speaks, you wanna listen. I've been able to watch a couple of his videos, and I sincerely will tell you that he makes great impression in whatever content he's going to present. Thank you so much, Mr. Kweku. Keep up the good work.
So let's start the video today by reading what some Muslim influencers are writing on TikTok against Nicki Minaj, calling on the entire Muslim population in the world to reject her and even stop listening to her songs if they do. So this one is called Faris. Now, Faris is a Muslim vlogger, and he said, as a Muslim, you have no business listening to music, especially from someone like Nicki Minaj. Even if you do, now is the right time to delete everything concerning her from your life. And he said, cancel Nicki Minaj now, hashtag on Twitter. And that was not all. So this one too, also apparently a Muslim, also wrote, and I quote, Nicki Minaj has made an enemy for life. I will be here praying and wishing for her downfall till one of us leave this world. So Nicki Minaj has really busted the bubble of the Muslim community in Nigeria. And that was not all. A professor also granted an interview and said that Nicki Minaj, in fact, used the opportunity to advertise, market her brand instead of really empathizing with the Christians in Nigeria.
Number 3, Shaun, is how Donald Trump, Nicki Minaj and their ilk are adding insult to injury, where we are losing our lives. Nigerians are dying, and they are there using that opportunity for political rhetoric and for entertainment.
Now, according to this professor by the name Bulama Bugatti on Twitter, he said, in the speech, Nicki Minaj spoke about the targeting of Nigerian Christians and claimed to care. Yet, she also plugged herself and even laughed. That's how seriously they take our lives. And so, he did not spare Nicki Minaj for once.
Shaun, it tells you how seriously these people take our lives, that a musician will be invited to the United Nations, who has never been to Nigeria, as far as I know, will be invited to the United Nations to speak on insecurity.
He questioned the motive of America and Donald Trump to invite Nicki Minaj, who allegedly have no ties to Nigeria, to speak on behalf of Nigeria when there are expert victims who are directly affected by the genocide or have affiliation to Nigeria. Why would Donald Trump, go around all these people and choose somebody who has no ties to Nigeria?
When we have eminent experts in Nigeria, when we have survivors in Nigeria, when we have families who have lost loved ones in Nigeria, when we have a government in Nigeria, none of them got invited to the United Nations to seriously discuss the issue. It was a musician who has no relationship with Nigeria and know nothing about Nigeria that was invited.
And what even kills his spirit is that less than 5 minutes after Nicki Minaj had spoken, she kept laughing and babbling, making fun of the whole, genocide thing happening in Nigeria, making it look fun.
And when she went shown, what did she do? She gave a speech in which she claims to care for Nigerian Christians, but she was laughing at the end of the speech. Less than 5 minutes, less than 2 minutes after she has spoken about Christians being persecuted, and she was laughing in the same speech. And she was using the speech for advertising her work, saying she's looking forward to meeting her fans and laughing and enjoying herself. That's how seriously they take our lives.
And also, Nicki Minaj was using the genocide, something that serious, to advertise her work and her brand as Nicki Minaj.
And what is their statement doing? They are dividing our community further. You have Riley Moore coming out to say the school kidnapping affected Christian students when it was overwhelmingly Muslim students that were affected. Shaun, the final point I will make at this on this segment is that the incidents over the past 7 days completely dismantled Donald Trump, Nicki Minaj, and all of their narratives and arguments. Why do I say this? A church was attacked in Kwara State. 2 Christian worshippers died, and a pastor and some worshippers were abducted. Very sad incident. And then you have a school in a predominantly Muslim community. 23 students abducted, and the presumption is that they are predominantly Muslim students. And then in the northeast, you have a military general, Samaila Musa Uba, who also happens to be a Muslim, killed. This tells you that these guys, their war is not against a specific faith. Their war is against Nigeria. They want to dismantle our country. They want to destroy all of us. And the earlier we unite, the earlier we shun the forces of division and evil and unite as Nigerians, Muslims and Christians and face our common enemy, the better for all of us.
But what was the speech that got Nicki Minaj to read that actually have gotten the whole world talking with Nigerians dragging Nicki Minaj? Now let's go into her speech. So Nicki Minaj was invited to speak on behalf of, Donald Trump. So the central focus was the alleged persecution and rising violence against, Christians in Nigeria. That was what she was invited to go and speak on. So in her first part of her speech, she called for urgent action to combat this extremism and defend Christians' religious freedom in Nigeria. Minaj emphasized that the issue is not about division or taking sides, but about uniting humanity behind the universal cause of religious freedom. She stated that religious freedom means we all can sing our faith regardless of who we are, where we live, or what we believe in.
Hello, everyone. I must say I am very nervous, so please, thank you, Ambassador Waltz, for this invitation. It is an honor to stand on this stage with you and the other distinguished speakers here today to shine a spotlight on the deadly threat faced by thousands of Christians in Nigeria. I would like to thank President Trump for prioritizing this issue and for his leadership on the global stage and calling for urgent action to defend Christians in Nigeria, to combat extremism, and to bring a stop to violence against those who simply want to exercise their natural right to freedom of religion or belief. I stand here as a proud New Yorker with a deep sense of gratitude that we live in a country where we can freely and safely worship God regardless of one's creed, background, or politics. No group should ever be persecuted for practicing their religion, like I recently stated on social media. And we don't have to share the same beliefs in order for us to respect each other. We're way beyond thinking or expecting or assuming for, the person sitting next to you to have the exact same beliefs. We're beyond that. That's ridiculous.
Now, highlighting on the violence, she mentioned that Nigerian churches have been burned down and Christian families are being torn apart for their faith, calling the problem as a deadly threat.
But that shouldn't make one person feel less safe than anyone in any room. Music has taken me around the globe. I have seen how people, no matter their language, culture, or religion, come alive when they hear a song that touches their soul. Religious freedom means we all can sing our faith regardless of who we are, where we live, and what we believe.
Then she pledged for advocacy, saying that she and her community will never stand down in the face of injustice, believing her influence has a bigger purpose. Now, this is the controversy. So while Nicki Minaj spoke about the persecution and violence in Nigeria, she continued to use the term genocide, which is highly contested. Remember, a lot of people are contesting that there isn't a Christian genocide. In fact, there is terrorism against all Nigerians, regardless of, their religious affiliation. And it is happening to Muslims and Christians as well. And that extremist groups like Boko Haram target both Muslims and Christians, making it a broader terrorism problem rather than a singular anti-Christian genocide. So that is exactly what her speech is about. But she's been dragged left, right, center, front. But what do you also think? Do you think, Nicki Minaj is supposed to be dragged like she's been dragged by Nigerians and world leaders? What do you think? Don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section.